Thank you so much for this ceremony. Great honor. Thank you very much. And thanks for invitation. Thanks, Dublin. Dear Taoiseach, Michal, dear President Antonio, government, and of course people of such a great country. Thank you for your attention to us, attention to Ukraine, and for standing by our country and our people from the very beginning of such big aggression. Ukraine knows how to be grateful, and we always value relationships built on mutual respect. And I congratulate Ireland on the start of its presidency of the Council of the European Union. This is always a great responsibility, especially now when we must protect lives and our values from Russia's anti-European aggression, and when we face many other challenges, both in international affairs and at the national level across Europe. The EU has an opportunity and the responsibility to be a force that brings more stability, more predictability, and basic respect for human life, the kind of life everyone wants for themselves, their children, and their families. First, security. Over the next 6 months, we can make real progress on the drone deal that Ukraine has proposed to the European Union. We have also concluded a good number of bilateral agreements and broader partnerships with European countries that can help bring Ukraine's new defense technologies into wider use, including drone and counter-drone systems that are already proving effective. Today, every country needs the modern means to at least monitor and protect its own airspace and sea borders. Without Ukraine's experience and security expertise tested in modern war, it is simply impossible to guarantee security today, especially when it comes to air defense and maritime security. That is why I invite all of Europe to work together as closely as possible. Second, we must support every step that makes it harder for Russia to continue such war. Russia is not acting out of goodwill. It will not stop the war simply because someone asks it to. The world's strongest leaders, including the President of the US, have already told Russia that this war must end. However, Putin wants to keep fighting, and it's true. That is why he must face conditions that make it impossible for him to keep this war going. We are creating those conditions through our long-range strikes on Russian military and oil facilities. Our medium-range sanctions are also having an effect. They make it harder for Russia to occupy our territory, our lives. And we are doing everything we can to make the occupation unbearable for the occupier. I want to thank everyone who supports us, supports our efforts, and I urge you to continue this support through new European Union sanctions, and they are needed against Russia's shadow fleet and against many of the tools Putin still relies on to keep this war going. This also includes companies in European countries whose only purpose is to work for Russia. Unfortunately, there are companies in Europe that are owned or effectively controlled by Russia and its sanctions oligarchs. They keep supplying the aggressor with essential materials, even now. Third, I thank all European leaders for opening the first negotiation cluster in Ukraine's EU accession talks. And it was an important decision during the Cyprus presidency. And now we must keep moving forward. We count on it, moving forward without losing time. We can open 5 more clusters. Antonio, what do you think?
I agree.
Okay. We can open 5 more clusters very soon and continue the negotiations in a practical way. And of course, the biggest political decisions are still ahead, but steps like opening new clusters strengthen the motivation of our people, lift the spirit of Ukrainians, and show that the EU keeps its promises. It's so important to keep promises. And that is exactly how it should be. Honor for me to be here. Thank you very much. Slava Ukraini!